Hi cookies, hi, my name is Nella and I'm back with another video. I go by my signature name, Cooking with Mrs. Kosa. So please do subscribe, hit the like button, comment down below, let me know what you think or what would you like to see me cook or bake the next time. So today, can you already guess by the looks of the bananas there, can you already guess what we're making? So yes, today we will be baking some banana loaf. Yes, today we'll be baking banana loaf. So obviously, you know the hygiene techniques in my kitchen that we firstly do. You must wash your hands, make sure that you have your apron, and just make sure that your area is clean. So I've already preheated my oven at 180 degrees right now. And what you will need for this recipe, obviously you will need your overripe bananas. So I have like two way overripe bananas here, so I also have these two here. I'm gonna mix them together, and you will need 4 bananas for this. And I also have 2 eggs. You will need 2 eggs, some baking powder, self-raising flour, and you will also need some vanilla essence, some sugar, pinch of salt, and obviously your butter or margarine of choice. So that I'll be using butter in for this recipe. And obviously your banana loaf pan and my mixing bowl, and obviously I'll be using these for mixing and measuring. So first things first, you will need to separate your two your dry ingredients and your wet ingredients. So here I'll start by mixing my dry ingredients, right? So since it's just a small pan, I think I'll just use only 2 cups of flour for this recipe. So the flour that I'm using, it's the Snowflake self-raising flour. Hi Snowflake. So I need 2 cups of these. So I got these measuring cups at Pep Home. Hi Pep Home. So I got these 2 measuring cups at Pep Home, and they work wonders for me. I use them basically to measure everything. So this one is 250 milliliters, which is 1 cup, right? So I'll need 2 of these. Okay. So just make sure, the easier way to doing this, you can, just because I wanted to show you the products that I am using and the ingredients that I am using. So I usually just take out my flour into a container where I usually just measure from there. But now, just for the for the sake of the video, so yes, that's my first cup, and I'm gonna go in with the second one. The second cup of flour. Just make sure that it's full. Yes, like that. So that is just it. Then I'm gonna put this aside. I'm gonna use the flour again, of course, after I'm done coating my pan with margarine and some butter. So I will just need a pinch of salt, just a pinch, right? And then secondly, I'm also gonna need a teaspoon of the baking powder. Grab a teaspoon there. Spoon of this. I don't need 2. I'll just only use 1. So you just need a heap 1 like that, right? And then now I'm gonna mix my dry ingredients together. So I'm gonna take a whisker. I always use a whisker to mix everything. Then you just mix everything. Just give it a good mix. All right. So yes, my dear cookies, you just give this a good stir just to mix everything together. All right, so I'm done with that. I'm just gonna put it aside. So I'm gonna take a whisker. I always use a whisker to mix everything. Then you just mix everything. Just give it a good mix. All right. So yes, my dear cookies, you just give this a good stir just to mix everything together. All right, so I'm done with that. I'm just gonna put it aside. So what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna in another bowl, I'm gonna take my margarine. So this is 500 grams of butter, but I've already had used a part of it. I always cook with it. So you need half a cup. So if you want, you can actually measure using your cup. So I'll measure using my eyes, a half a cup of butter. So it's entirely up to you, your choice of butter. Since this is your choice of butter or margarine, so since this is butter, I'll just half it like that. So this is not exactly 500 grams for now, right? So but I'll just use half of that like that. Oops, so it's already in there. That's how much you need of that. So I'm gonna put this aside. I'm done with the butter. And another thing, now you're gonna need your sugar. You will need a cup. So I'm not big on sugar. I'm not gonna go with a cup. I'm gonna go with like quarter-ish, like 3/4 of it. So let me use a spoon for that. So I'm gonna go with like 3/4 of that. But sometimes I would usually just measure with a spoon. So I'll just show you how much of that I'm gonna actually take. I'm not gonna go all the way in with a cup of sugar. I feel like it's a bit too much. So there we go. I'm gonna go with like three quarter of the cup, as you can see. So you mix that with your sugar. And then another thing that we're gonna do, we'll have to mix the sugar and the butter. So I'm gonna use my spatula like that just to mix everything in. You can use whatever. You can use a spoon, it will still work. It's just mixing. Or you can even use a fork, right? You can even use a fork. It's even better to use a fork. All right, so I'm gonna beat in my 2 eggs in there. Egg 1. Just make sure not to put in the eggshells. You don't want to crunch into eggshells as you're eating your banana loaf. So egg number 2. It's always best, actually. I'm just taking chances, I feel like once you are like a cook or a baker, you somehow know as you do these things in your head. But it's always best to beat on the side just to make sure all your eggs are good. It's always good to beat on the side. So you just mix everything like that. You know why? Let me just quickly tell you a quick story. So when I was growing up, right, there was an uncle of mine who bought us eggs, like a whole lot of eggs, right? And he said he got them at a good price. I mean, who wouldn't buy them? So he brought the eggs home. So this is how I'm mixing everything now. So he brought the eggs home, right? Auntie, those eggs were not fresh eggs. And like after school, you like come back from school and we're all making eggs for everyone, my cousins and everyone, because I grew up at my grandmother's house, right? So, I mean, in a big bowl, that is me beating the egg like 1, okay, good, 2, 3, 4. When I got to egg number 5, it was bad and I just beat it and put it in. What does that mean? All the other 4 eggs I would have now to throw them away. Imagine. So that's what I'm saying. It's always best to like beat on the side and then put it in there. All right, so just mix everything like that. So I'm also gonna add vanilla essence, right? It's up to you if you want to or not. I decide to. You just need some vanilla essence. I'm just gonna put it's a bit hard to open it. I'm just gonna put like a full tablespoon of this. Okay, there we go. So I'm just gonna put so hard to open it. Yeah, there we go. So I'm just gonna put a tablespoon. That should be enough. And then I'm gonna continue mixing everything. All right, now the next step, remember, you must just mix you basically like creaming your butter into your sugar and your eggs, ne? So just put that aside, and I'm still gonna give this a good stir. Let me just show you how it looks. I'm just gonna give it a good stir. So now what I want to do, I want to deal with my bananas right now. We should deal with our bananas. So I'm gonna get a clean plate. Let me just grab a plate there. So I'm just gonna grab a clean plate. And I'm just gonna open my overripe bananas. So I think I will need 3 of these overripe bananas. That's banana number 1, and then we can throw this one away into the bin. So banana number 2. Okay, there, that's banana number 2. And I'm just gonna grab also the 3rd banana. Just make sure you remove the back. You don't need that. Growing up, they told me that these are seeds of the banana, so you don't need that. Just make sure. So now you'll just need to crush your bananas like that. 3 of them. Crush, 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 crush. Make sure you crush them nicely and they are crushed. Crush your bananas like that. Okay, so that's how it's looking right now. Let's just make sure that everything is nicely crushed. Okay, so now back to our butter and everything else. I'm just gonna now use a fork to actually make sure that the margarine is nicely mixed in. It's like you are creaming it, so just make sure that you nicely mix it. Mix, 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 mix. Make sure it's nicely mixed. I know other people also use a whisker. That's also a good way of doing it. Maybe we should do that. Let's use a whisker. I mean, we have our whisker here. So let's use our whisker. Make sure you mix everything. Mix, 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 mix. Let me show you how it's looking now. Just mixing, just to make sure that the butter and the sugar and the eggs are getting well mixed together. Just mix that. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add my bananas actually. Add your bananas into our mixture. Okay, let's continue mixing. Mix, 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 mix. Mix, 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 mix. Okay, that's how it's looking. Let me just give you one more minute. Okay, whew, that is enough mixing. So now I'm gonna add my flour. Remember, here I've added my self-raising flour. I've also added a teaspoon of the baking powder and just a pinch of salt. That is all. And then here I've mixed my banana, my butter, and my vanilla essence, right? And then now I'm just putting I'm just putting my dry ingredients into my wet ingredients and just continue mixing everything. So in there we go. I hope you can see. And then just mix, just give it a good mix. Just give it a good mix. So it's up to you what you want to use to mix. You can use a spatula. A spatula is even a great way of doing it. Let's use a spatula. Okay. So I'm gonna continue with the spatula now. We mix everything. We mix. Do you find it weird for people who cook or bakers who actually taste the dough? I always taste my dough. I always taste my dough. Let me just quickly taste. The sugar, the banana, the vanilla essence, it's coming together. So let me just continue mixing. Let me just show you how it's looking. It's coming all right. Just continue mixing, giving it a good mix. Woo! I can't wait. Okay, let me show you. So the trick now is not to over mix. You don't want to overmix. You've already mixed your eggs and your sugar and your bananas ready. Now you're just mixing in the flour. You don't want to overmix, otherwise your dough will just now become so stiff. You don't want to overmix. Look at that. Looks creamy, it looks good already, so you don't really want to overmix. Let me put that aside, and now we have to now coat our banana bread pan with some margarine. So I'm just gonna use my hands. I usually use my hands for this. So if you do have, you can use that spray, you know, the baking spray, you can use that, but I just always go in with the butter like that, and you just coat it, you know, just coat it on the side. Just make sure you nicely coat it, because you don't want your bread to actually stick on the pan. So you just mix everything like that. Keep mixing. No, just coating everything. Coat. Okay, so you just coat everything nicely like that. And remember, after using the flour, I did indicate that I was gonna use the flour again. Yes, this is the part where I use the flour. So I just take a little like that, just pour it in, not too much, and then you just make sure that you cover it on your sides, of your pan like that. Cover it. Why are we doing this? Because we don't want our dough or our bread to get stuck, like to stick on the pan. So let me also do this like here on the sides there. Can you see there? Because I know my bread will rise, so I don't want it to touch there, and it would be difficult to take it out. So I think that is enough. So just make sure we coat it nicely, and then we just continue with the flour. I still have some flour there. Can you see the flour? So we're just continuing to coat it around there. Coat it nicely. Okay. I think I need more. Okay. So there we go, my cookies. There we go. All right, let me just rinse my hands. Okay. All right, so now we're transferring our dough into the pan. So I'm just making sure that everything is nicely mixed. Yes, it is nicely mixed, nicely creamed. So I'm just transferring everything into my banana loaf pan. Let's transfer everything in there. Okay, just transfer everything, and just make sure you nicely pat it down like that. Nicely pat it down. So you see what I was saying? Can you see that my pan is already full? So obviously my bread will rise, and it will obviously touch on the sides. So that's why I was coating as well on the sides. So just put it nicely there. Okay, so what I will do now, I would love to garnish my banana. That's why I had 4 bananas. So this one, I'll use it as a garnish. Come on, banana, open up. Okay, so I'm just gonna garnish this banana. Let me split it in half, you know, like the banana split vibes. I'm just gonna split it in half like that, and then just garnish it on top of my banana loaf like that, and also on the other side. Can you see how it's looking? So yes, that's how it will look after it has ripened. So I've already preheated my oven at 180 degrees. And now what I will do, I'll just put it inside my oven and just cook it, and then I'll check up on it, not cook it, bake it, and then I'll check up on it after a moment. So just to make sure that you oven for 50 minutes, obviously at 180 degrees. So we're gonna put it in there for 50 minutes to an hour. So obviously the 10 minutes before, the 10 minutes after the 15 minutes, that will be the time where we'll be checking if it's ready or not. Obviously, how do you check that? You're gonna use your butter knife to stick in your bread, and if it comes out clean, it means that it's ready. And if it still comes out with a little bit of dough, it means that it needs a little bit more of cooking. So just do that and check every 2 minutes or every 5 minutes until it comes out clean. So now let's put it in the oven. Okay, right there. So I'm gonna put it in the oven. Already the oven was preheated at 180 degrees before I even started preparing. So after 50 minutes, I'll be checking it just to make sure that it is ready. All right, my cookies, stay with me. Let's see how it turns out. Cookies, now this is 50 minutes later. Let's see how everything is looking inside the oven. Hello, my dear cookies. This is 50 minutes later. Let's now see how our banana loaf is looking. I'm very excited just to see. Okay, let's open this and let's just see. Oh, wow, it smells so divine. Woo! Look at that. So this is how everything is looking now. This is our final product. I'm so excited. So I'm just gonna let this cool for like a good 5 minutes. I'm just gonna let it cool. Then I'm gonna take it out of my pan, and then we're gonna butter it and just taste it together. I can't wait. Let's just hold on. Hi, my dear cookies. This is 5 minutes later, and I believe that our bread has cooled down, and now it's time to cut it and just to see how it looks on the inside. I'm so excited. Okay, so I'll just tip it. Can you see? I just tip it right there. Look, it looks beautiful. It looks stunning. So I'm just gonna cut it from this side because I would like to put some butter on it and just enjoy. Look at that. It looks amazing. It looks beautiful. So that's my slice, and I'm just gonna get an extra slice for myself. Wow, look at that. A girl can never have enough. Look at that. It smells divine. It smells divine. It smells great. And I'm just going to enjoy this with some butter and just indulge. So I'm just going to have some butter there. It smells amazing. So I'm just going to have a little butter like that. And I'm just going to have a big bite. My dear cookies and foodies, I recommend that you should try this. I mean, now it's festive. It's December time. You will be having visitors time and again. This is absolutely a recipe that you should try and entertain your guests. For dessert, you can actually have this for dessert with some, you can enjoy this with some like real fresh bananas on the side, and also some custard. This will be very delicious. And look at that. Look at the banana. You can actually still see the banana right there. It's great garnish, and you can like taste the banana. I think I did great by actually adding 3/4 of the sugar. I'm not really a sugar person, so I think right now I'm just gonna boil some fresh water for tea and enjoy my banana loaf with tea. My dear cookies and foodies, please try this recipe and please comment down there and just let me know what else do you add when you bake a banana loaf. Do you add vanilla essence like I did, or you do not? Or what type of butter or margarine do you usually add? I recommend that you please try this at home. You know the saying where they say, please don't try this at home? This is absolutely something you should try at home. Well, my dear cookies and foodies, please go and try this recipe. Just let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. And just engage with me in the comment section. Recommend this video for your friends and for your other families. And also please share with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe and like my videos, and obviously comment down there. And obviously ring the bell so that every time I upload a new video, you can actually see. My cookies and foodies, enjoy the rest of your day. And I am right now going to boil some fresh water for tea and just enjoy my banana loaf. Bye, my dear. Enjoy my banana loaf. Bye, my dear cookies.